This video will show what the third umpire should have been doing if the online umpire referred it to him. So we've all seen this image. People make judgment calls. Is it over waist height? You can't really tell from here because the camera angle is quite high. But there is this angle. And this is probably the best angle you're going to get. And the reason why is from the same height of the ball. Now these are screenshots from a video which you can get from the highlights package. And what it shows is a white cricket ball, frame by frame, and it clearly shows the ball coming downwards in an angle. And this can be shown with a red line. Now when you look at this red line straight away, you know it's going just below the waist, but there's more to it than that. Some people would say the ball doesn't go down in a straight line, there's going to be a curve. So let's add a curve to it, and that's a curve I've put down. And yeah, you could say, look, spinners should have more of a curve downwards, it could be upwards. I'm sure Indians will say no, there's going to be less of a curve. And that's just to show that there has to be some sort of gravity force coming into effect. Now, some could say, oh no, your angles are slightly off by a couple of degrees, which makes a huge difference. I say, okay, I'll give you that one. If you're going to make it out that I've got judgment or error with this line, even though it's clearly in line with the dotted white balls. So now we're going to show where Virat's waist is. Now this is going to be the biggest judgment call. I'm taking the waistline. From most cricketers, they say it's where your cricket pants are going to end. Some people will say, no, you got it wrong, it's lower than that, it's higher than that. That's my judgment call. Now if you're going to say it's lower than that, and say, look, if it's slightly lower, it's going to be more close to a red line. There's not much difference between that and the green line going just above it. So technically, whatever the umpire gives, it shouldn't be a big problem. We should just accept it, because a few degrees here and there, you can get umpires make a very small error in judgment. Yeah, the third umpire probably will pick this one up. But for now, let's just go with it and say, look, it's very close to where that line is. It's just too close to call. So the umpire made a half decent decision. So my next argument would be this. Virat Kholi has come out of the crease, and this can be shown with this image. If you look at this, in his normal stance, he's clearly in his crease. And if I do close up, his front foot is on the white line. His back foot is behind the white line. So this is a normal standing position. This is where, if you call no balls, you have to take it from where he's initially standing. If someone runs down the wicket and it goes over their waist height, that can't be called a no ball. They judge it from where your standing position is. So if this is Virat Kholi right now, so I'm going to add a purple line of where the popping crease is. And let's move Virat back to where he initially would have been, about here. Now there could definitely be some error in me moving him back. Some would say actually he was a bit more back because his front foot was on the line. I've clearly put his front foot in front of the line. Look, I'm going to put all the favour in the Indian camp. I know I haven't moved him far enough backwards, he can go more back, but let's just leave it there for now, just for argument's sake. And now you clearly see a red line well below the waist. You see your orange line even more further below the waist. Now that orange line looks ridiculously low, and some would say, well, that's just nuts, it can't be like that. But actually that's how the ball is. When a spinner's ball, there is going to be some dip on it. But then there's one last thing that puts everything into perspective. Virat Kholi isn't standing in an upright position. This second green line is the same length but vertical, and that shows that's where Virat would be standing in an upright position. That's where his waist would be. Now if I move this green line back to the popping crease where he was standing in an upright motion, this now shows that red line, that orange line well below the waist. That clearly shows this is not a no ball, and that no ball shouldn't have been given. This shows without any doubt, if this went to the third umpire, this would not have been given a no ball. And if this wasn't given a no ball, then the subsequent free hit wouldn't have happened. And at least we would have got a proper result where there'd be no errors, because at the end of the day in cricket, all we want to see is a fair sporting victory. We don't want to see errors like this, especially when they could have been avoided. So if you haven't seen my channel, I do quite a lot of analysis. Subscribe to my channel for future videos, and I hope to see you again soon.